another kit that I'm using for the industrial area over in the yard is the Walthers Valley Cement. Now, I'm not using it as a cement company. I was looking at some stuff, and I'm using it for a gnarly looking industrial complex because it looks pretty cool. So kind of showed a little bit how I'm modifying this and some of the things I'm doing to this kit just for fun. Over here I have the two main buildings somewhat together. Still look kind of in construction. And the way that I'm going to use it, like I said, it is a little bit different. The way they show it, you can see that you have the silos that feed back to what they call building 1. Then the roller goes up to building 2, and then they have a storage building, building 3. I'm not even using building 3, at least not in this complex. And I'm basically going to take the silos and turn them around and feed building 1 from the end. So what I'm going to do, the silos are going to sit over here. I had to modify the head house. I had to cut an opening here and fill it back there. So the silos are going to sit here. The conveyor is going to come down into here, and I had to cut another opening there because it's originally on the back. So I had to cut that opening and fill the back one. And then from this building it runs up through the conveyor into that building. And that's all I'm going to use in this particular case. This is the base support. I thought it looked kind of boring, so I kind of added a little pad there, a little manhole for some type of access into something, and maybe put a drain there. I might put some, I don't know, I may put some of this brass micro mesh in here, with some type of graded area with a drain. And then over here, this is access to get underneath to some of the industrial pipe work or something like that. Add a ladder here maybe, just to make it look a little more interesting than the mundane stuff that's on the kit. And then for these here, these are the silos. Basically, that's pretty much built, and they're not done yet. I got a lot more work to do per the kit instructions. But what I wanted to do, I didn't like the way the inside of the unloading shed looked. It just looked really boring and plain. So just to give it a feel that something's going on, you can see I added some interior details there. Now you're not going to see a lot, but I didn't like the way the silos look, so I added this piece of it's thin foil, painted with a grimy black to make it look like it's the back of the unloading shed. You're not going to see much. You'll see in, like that. So I added a compressor and a railing. And on this side, there's just some barrels, and that's actually a piece of sprue. I don't even know what it is. Just looks like some type of industrial ornament. And that little chain on top of that, just to give it some variety. And then for the unloading, obviously it's not just going to be a track going through on top of cork. To simulate something like an unloading pit, I bought I forget who it was. It's a concrete crossing, but it looks a lot like an unloading area. So I'll probably put that in and maybe, concrete out the floor. The reference I'm using for this is when I was at the power plant. Their coal unloading building has some pretty cool looking stuff. That's looking inside of it. And you can see it's, full concrete floor. You can even see what's between the tracks there. So I'm going to try to simulate that a little bit. I like that chain going in front with the keep out authorized personnel. That's a pretty cool touch. You can see just some of the stuff that's inside the building. And I even like these. I wish someone made these lights. These, modern, external lights. Those kind of things are hard to find, especially in HO scale. So, and you can also notice way there at the top, there's some lights hanging in. So I figured, well, you know what? These guys need light when they're working, because there's no way they're going to work without light. So, in my bag of tricks, I had some Faller lights. These are, like I said, from Walther. I had them just laying in there. Of course, now I can't find the damn package. Oh, here it is. So, what they are these. They're LEDs. There's the part number. They're actually 12 to 16 volt. They don't say it, but I had to look it up. So I wrote it down. And they're relatively nice. I had some other Pico and Nano LEDs that just weren't bright enough. But you can see I added them here to the underside of the roof. And then I ran a cable, being some 24 gauge wire. I soldered it all together, put some heat shrink tubing in it, and it's all, sealed under the roof. And then I brought it through the back of the building, the silos there. Because I'm most likely, obviously, those leads were way too small to deal with, so I soldered them to some bigger, easier to handle wire. And I'm probably going to have more lights, because around the top of this thing, I think it needs some railings, and it needs some spotlights, and some other stuff to make it look a little more interesting. So, with that, and then with the interior of that, I'll turn it down and pop the lights on just to see what it looks like. But again, I just wanted to dress it up. And again, you don't need to go crazy. All of this only took about 10 minutes. It's just stuff I had in my detailing parts drawer. And just, I'm not worried about it being perfect. Just want something to make it look like, when you look in, that there's something going on there and it's not just plastic. So let's put the roof on and see how the lights look. Alright, so with the roof on, you can kind of see, I know it's probably hard to see with this darn camera, but when you look in there, you just get a feel that, oh yeah, hey, there's something in there. Alright, so that's that one side. And what I did want to do, I wanted to put a man door here, because there probably would be one, but I just didn't feel like dealing with cutting the plastic, because it's not smooth, and I just didn't want to deal with it. So anyway, I got lazy. So there's that side. Again, it's kind of dark, but if I turn the lights on, then, when it's nighttime and they're working inside there, turn the overhead light off, you'll look in there and you'll see, oh, look at that. Okay, there's something going on. Maybe put a figure in there or something like that, And then this side, you can kind of see the unloading, and that black piece kind of helps. You don't see the white of the silos in the background. So, alright, that's what I did to that kit. So now I got to work on the top, and like I said, a lot of detail needs to be done up there. But we'll get to that. And then get the whole thing together and set over on the layout. And I did, for this here, for the silos themselves, might be hard to see. Again, I don't have the best light. I wanted to give it some texture. So what I did, let me just pause this real quick and I'll get the paints. Alright, so being the lazy guy I am, I didn't feel like getting the airbrush out, so I figured, well, let me try something. So this is the Rust-Oleum multicolor textured. It's got kind of a nice tan color to it that looked pretty decent. I'd never done it this way before, so I didn't know if it would be too coarse, for HO scale. So I carefully sprayed, this on a relatively thin coat. Then went over it with this color, which is just some automotive primer that looks more like kind of like an ivory white, kind of a concrete-ish type color. I figured it might look good over top of it, because that looked a little bit too yellow to me. And that's what it looks like now. And again, I know my lighting is not the best, but I think it looks okay. Now, it still needs to be weathered. And we're still going to want to come in with some washes and, weather it up a little bit to make it look like a silo that's been out in the environment. But that's, I tried it. I just wanted to try that. So that's the Rust-Oleum textured with another thin top coat of their automotive primer, kind of a concrete-ish color. So that is that. Okay, a little bit of in progress here on the silos, and I got myself in over my head. Well, okay, I'll explain later. There's the top. All the details are on from the kit. Didn't really do anything except a little bit of weathering. I'm not sure it's going to show up real well. And I still want to do some powder weathering to some of those, to the ductwork and some of that stuff. I did add, just because I thought it would look interesting, down the side here you can see a little bit of conduit run coming up. Figured, you got to get power in there somehow, so they ran some power up a little bit into the unloading shed, and then up to the head house. Now I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the railing up top, because you've got to have a railing if you're going to have people on top of this thing. Not that they're going to have the Christmas parties up there, but if workers go up, they've got to be safe. So I'm actually working on a cage ladder going here, a little platform, and another ladder coming up here. I didn't want to go to that level, but I started getting into it and thought, now that I started, I might as well finish it. So those are they're painted right now, because once you get them on, I'm not going to be able to spray paint them. And the brass needs to be spray painted. The safety ladders are from Gold Metal Models. The platform here is from the Walthers platform kit, which is an etched brass kit, pretty nice. It actually is, it's actually stairs, but I used the platform, and it was the perfect length to fit there. So I have that drying up. I had to cut little styrene blocks to level it off with the roof. I had to add railing at the end. Anyway, I had to do a lot of work, but we'll see how it looks when it's all installed. So that's that. Again, just trying to make the kit look a little bit more interesting, and try to think about the practicality of a model like this. You know, if you're going to have people up top, they're going to have safety railings, and they have to have a way to get there. So I'm just trying to add those details. Much to my chagrin, because I could have just built the kit and had it on the layout by now. But anyway, alright, so we'll come back when I get this thing put together and see what it looks like. Alrighty, here's almost where I'm going to stop on this, because I'm getting tired of it. So I got the safety ladder added. And like I said, that's the platform that is actually from the Walthers set, but it's actually stairs. It's a little bit hard to tell. I mean, if you look at it and you go, hey, wait a minute, that's not really a platform, but whatever. And then I got this safety ladder coming up. Let me get some light on it. Over there, so you come up there, across the platform, clamber on up there to the roof. And I added the railing up there. That was a pain. That railing is actually from these folks here, Seaport Model Works. It's their etched brass railing. Worked out relatively nice. It's just a pain. I didn't want to use like a Plastruct or anything like that. This looks too heavy, and this looks better. I didn't do it the way I probably should have done it. Is have the railing, follow the contours of the, around the contours. I've seen a lot like that, but I just didn't feel like dealing with that. So that's how it's going to go. Good enough. It's in. It's done. I did drill individual holes for all the support for the railings to fit into. That was fun. So that's that. I still want to add one detail on top of some lights. Not working because I figured they wouldn't be on all the time, but there would be lights up there. And then need to get it weathered up and painted up. Obviously, it can't be that nice bright silver color there. It's just looks way too unrealistic. And I'll weather the silos a little bit, and it should be good to go. So that is that. That is some modifications to the Valley Cement silos and the Walthers. That's the Walthers Valley Cement kit. Alright, this mess here, and this is also part of the Valley Cement kit. This goes underneath. That supports the roller. It goes between two buildings. So I wanted to make it look a little more gnarly and industrial. So you can see I kind of got it weathered up, and then I added some just some stuff to it there. I don't know, some kind of manhole, something over there. I don't know what that is. Some kind of valve or some kind of shenanigans. And on this part, I did add some of that. Oh, geez, I just bumped the camera. Sorry about that. Some of the micro mesh, a drain, and then weathered it up, and even added a little standing water up there in the one corner. I don't know what that is. It just looks cool. It's actually an old piece, an old block of set up hydrocal from something I was doing, just laying around. I said, look at that. So I just kind of glued it on and weathered it up and added a ladder. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Hey, I just model the stuff. I don't design it. So that's ready to go in, and that goes. I'm going to slowly move over here. That goes in between, or underneath, I should say, the roller here. So now I got to get this painted up. I got some new paint there in the back. Some more rattle cans. And then get these two buildings weathered up. And then it's pretty much ready to go. I did on the inside of this, just for fun, I did go ahead and, like I said, I had that motor. Oh boy, you can't see anything with my shadow there, can you? I did add the motor just for the fun of it. I'm not sure I'll really ever use it that much, but it'll be there. And then I added a light in one room. I just made a little room, more like a light block, just so this light here will come on. It's real dim, it's not real bright. Just like someone was in there working and maybe forgot to turn the light off, or something like that. And they say not to glue the cover on, the roof. But I may anyway, because to be honest, if that motor ever doesn't work, I'm not going to worry about it. And there's no way, even with the roof off, you can get in there and manipulate that motor and get it out. You can't do it. I had to install it with this one wall not even on. If that light ever burns out, but it's an LED, whatever. So that, I got the, as I just showed you, I got the base for this pretty much ready. I have the silos pretty much ready. So I just got to weather up these two buildings because they're pretty much ready to go. And then get it over and get it installed. Alright, so I got the pretty much this complex done the way I'm going to do it. Again, this is the Walthers Valley Cement. Kind of how I'm going to put it on my layout, so I figure I just kind of show it here on the bench all together. We'll show it on the layout in one of the updates, but this is how it looks here. So we got the silo, and then there's a little conveyor, and that moves over to the next building, kind of the middle building there, and then that moves over to that little, I'm not sure exactly what you call it. I think it's a kiln. I don't know, it's just kind of some kind of industrial looking thing that I liked. And then over to the final building. So that's the complex. Maybe what I'll try to do briefly is just kind of show each building, kind of just in summary, what was done. That stand here, it's there. I need to final paint it, and that's not going to go on until it's over on the layout anyway. So we'll kind of real briefly go over what we did on each of these buildings, and then it's I'm saying it's about 99% done. There's a few tweaks I want to may want to make here and there, but overall we're pretty much done. For example, like I'll run the layout, I did add this cute little, right in here, I added a little detail. It's like a little valve coming out of the building there. I just thought it looked kind of cool. And then I added, again on that side of that, I didn't like that one corner, so I added some pipes. So okay, real quick, we'll just take a look at each one of these buildings, and then get this up and posted. Alright, here is the silo complex. Again, it's not really a cement silo for me, it's just some type of industrial silo. And it does have some details added, like I said. The last thing I just did was add this little light here on the walkway. I figured there should be some light there. All that is it's actually a piece of sprue from one of the plastic kits I'm building that kind of looked like a lampshade. It was nice and small. It's not working. It's just there for decoration. But I figured there should be some kind of light up there, and that's just a piece of the 037 throw bar wire that I use for tortoises. It was the right size, and I had the drill, so I drilled a little bit and a little hole in the top of that thing, carefully glued it in, and you got a light for the walkway. And then the top's pretty much finished. I might add another non-working light or two when I get on the layout. We'll see. Did add a little bit of detail there. You can see there's a barrel and a broom from some point in time. Then got it weathered up. Added a few signs here or there. and the handrail and all that good stuff. So that's the silo. And then that moves down, so just through this conveyor to this building. Let me readjust my light so we can get a better look. Okay, so it comes into building, they call building, I don't know, it's 1 or 2, I forget. Anyway, it comes into this building. And you can see I've got it weathered up. I just weathered it with some acrylic washes and a few enamel things here or there. Got some signs added to it just for fun. There'll be some kind of signage. Add that little valve. I know there's something coming out of the building there for some detail, and like I said, I kind of messed that one corner up, so add a little bit of a pipe run that kind of runs from around the back of the building. Glued that on. So that's that. Let me move over to the kiln. I think it is actually in the kit. And let's try to really reposition and get some light on this. Alright, so there's the kiln part of it. Whatever this fancy thing is. And again, added some signs here and there, and a little pit there, and some other stuff. And I'm not sure about that tank. I may leave it there. I just had it in my detail part box and said, let me slap it on there, see what it looks like. And that goes into the final building, which would be the far end of our complex. And again, just added a few little signs here and there and things like that. Let me do the little flyover here. Again, like I said, the roof on this one is not secured yet. I do have the motor in there to turn that kiln. I'm not sure I'm actually going to do. It's in there. I don't know. We'll see. And then you can see some signs and goodies deeded. And there's so much more to do once it gets on the layout. So, alright, so that is the kit. The Walthers Valley Cement, made into, I don't know, some type of high-tech industrial complex for the layout here. So that's it. Like I said, I'm going to call it 99% done. Maybe a few details to add here or there, but most of that will actually be done over the layout. So in a future update, you will see it in its new home. Alright. Overall view. There we go. Okay. More kits to build. Let's get back to work.